When I was 15, I would experience what many of you would call depression. I would feel empty throughout the entire week, and I wonder why. I always wondered why I was depressed, I always wondered why I felt awful throughout pretty much my entire life as a teenager. I used to be quite blissful, despite, everything that happened to me back then, but I would feel depressed and awful every time I would wake up. But what was I doing every day? So immediately when I'd wake up, go into Roblox.com, video game or whatever, I would binge YouTube, abuse addictions, I would eat garbage, this food with tons of sugar and all these seed oils and man-made processed shenanigans. I was in a cycle of dopamine abuse and self-harm. And that self-harm, I'm talking about mental self-harm. We're talking about stuff like I'm going to abuse TikTok, even though I wasn't even using TikTok at the time. And of course, that's going to make me feel depressed and ungrateful. My posture was always facing downwards, like I was looking for pennies on the floor. I was regularly picked on by my friends and random bystanders. All of this could have easily been fixed if I had removed a couple habits, right? If I had changed how I lived, enable good habits like going to the gym and reading. The only good thing I was doing back then was researching not ancient history, but just history in general. I was researching tons of history back then because that's the thing I was fascinated in. But when you look at me now, I utilize good habits. I be disciplined. I do my work. I eat cleaner. And as a result, I'm no longer depressed. I'm not depressed at all. I feel great. I don't have any more addictions. I feel much happier and I feel absolutely amazing. So how did I do it? Step 1, your habits. Your habits do actually contribute a lot to your emotions, okay? So let's take two types of habits. There's bad habits and good habits. So what I was doing when I was 15, I was abusing all the bad habits, So what happens when you abuse TikTok, YouTube, pornography, gross, and just basic things that are going to mess you up? First of all, there are things that the substance may do to your brain that is unique to that substance. Like, for example, if you watch adult content, that's just going to mess up your gray matter and your brain's ability to kind of attach itself to actual human beings. But the main thing that all this does with dopamine is that when you participate in the activity, you're constantly spiking dopamine. And thus, when it goes down, instead of going down to baseline after the activity, the baseline has to decrease as a result because it goes below baseline. And the lower your baseline, the more disappointed you'll be on average. The less you'll enjoy things, and the more unhappy you'll be. While if you do all these good habits, okay, like cold showers, exercise, reading, meditation, ice facials, focusing on your work, your baseline will increase because it's actually having a healthy increase, right? Your dopamine will go up and back to baseline, and thus the baseline increases. And that's how every task should be. Instead of you kind of going out there and being like, oh, look at me, I'm going to abuse all these addictions and thus my baseline lowers and I'll be more disappointed. So as a result, I felt depressed. So how did I get out of this rut? I simply changed my habits. Nowadays, I have ice facials. I have been lacking on cold showers recently, but I'll get back to that. I exercise a lot. I eat cleaner than I used to. Of course, this is the best I could do. And I work a lot, and thus my baseline increases. And it's gone to the point where it's hard to feel disappointed anymore. So get off all those bad habits and introduce the good habits. Number 2, get yourself a purpose. You are a human being, right? Okay, you're a man, a male, a man. Of course, women can have purposes as well, but with a man, if you're a man, you have to have a purpose, okay? If you're running around this earth with no reason to be there, no reason to be on this earth, you don't have a purpose, you're going to feel meaningless. If you abuse pleasure every single day and you're basically waking up for that pleasure, then your life is going to feel meaningless. So you need to get yourself something to work for. Of course, I see a lot of people who are like, I don't know what my purpose is. Which, yeah, it may be hard to get your purpose, but what is a struggle you want to face, okay? Your first ever piece of purpose could be a problem you want to face. Like, maybe you're poor, so let's make some money. Or maybe I'm fat, let's lose some weight. And without a purpose, you're going to feel empty. You're not going to have a reason to wake up and, enjoy the day. Throughout history, we've had men who are aligned to their purpose of building empires, cathedrals, and cities. And other men who didn't have their own purpose were aligned with their purpose of building the empire, cathedral, and the city. And with you don't have any of that. So why don't you make your own purpose where you're actually building your own empire, cathedrals, and cities? Where you're going out there and giving yourself a reason to just keep existing. If you don't have a purpose, I want you to think for an hour straight about what you want to do with your life. So right now, if you're young, like you're 15, and you can get a purpose when you're 15 years old, that is quite, monumental, and you should do that. But if you're 15 years old and you want to start somewhere, think about a problem you're wanting to face, right? A problem that you have to face. Like, maybe I, am fat. let's go remove the fat. So step 3, self-esteem. Self-esteem is quite difficult for me because I've always kind of wondered how I could actually fully increase it, but I did find a way to actually kind of increase it that'll actually help you. So whenever you do bad habits, you feel bad about yourself because it's like, I did this to myself, so I'm terrible. A lot of people with poor self-esteem think they're bad at everything. Like, you know, they just see themselves failing a lot. But if you want to be able to kind of like get good self-esteem and feel comfortable in your skin, you need to give yourself victories in a sense. Of course, you're gonna fail anyway. Okay, just accept failure as what it is. But if you fail and then win right afterwards, that's going to feel great. So give yourself a skill, like give yourself at least a skill to learn, and also give yourself something that will make you feel fulfilled, like the gym. A lot of content creators, you know, fitness content creators, they always have this story where before they were just meaningless, but then they got into the gym and suddenly their self-esteem actually increased. He had a reason to live. You know Wim Hof, the Iceman who climbed Mount Everest with just his shorts on? That dude, he used to have no purpose. Like, he was absolutely distraught. You know, his wife died and everything. And to deal with this pain, he dipped himself in cold water, and thus he actually found his reason to live within that cold water. And thus his self-esteem increased, right? When you find something you're good at, your self-esteem will increase and you'll start feel comfortable in your skin, you know? If you find something you're good at, you'll feel great. So if you want to cure your self-esteem problems, get on the guitar and practice it every day, or go to the gym and make yourself something that will make you look brilliant in a sense. So now this is the final one, but it's also one of the most important ones ever. Step 4, outline your problems, okay? You know, you need to outline your problems and the things you need to eliminate. In my regard, I had a lot of confidence issues, and I also cared way too much about what other people thought of me. So what I did is that I outlined these problems, and I basically was like, how do I solve this? I searched online for problems. I read books like Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins, which is an excellent book, and it actually helped me a lot when I was 16 years old. And I was searching for solutions to fight these problems, and thus I was able to solve them. So you must find a problem that you have and outline it, and then come up with a solution or find a solution, because that is going to be your first step to winning. Every single winner outlines their struggle, their weakness, and they strengthen that weakness. So as a result of outlining my problems, I'm now confident in front of anyone, of course, but I still struggle. I still struggle with confidence, okay? Because maybe something mentally would have happened with them, and it's like, oh, I'm nervous around them. But I don't care about what others think about me anymore, and I'm now confident in front of like normal people, which is insane, okay? So what you need to do, you need to outline all your problems. You must find a solution, you know, just put your power into finding the solution and utilizing it. So these 4 steps is what brought me out of depression and the trap of being a loser, okay? I managed to make something out of myself and to continue to develop who I am with these steps and many more, okay? So if you want more videos like this, subscribe and like and comment, I guess. Keep never quitting, all right? That's the 5th step right there.